Hi there, I'm Cotton and welcome to Cotton Hammer. Today we are gonna look at another cuddly animal friend, the Ambull. Just look at those massive arms, perfect for giving hugs, Vulcan approved.
I would like to pet this creature.
So, without further faffing about, let's take a look at this unique piece of mining equipment. So what exactly is an Ambull? Ambulls are a unique species of humanoid insect-like creatures. An ambull is basically what you get when you cross a giant beetle with a gorilla. Just by looking at their stance you can see what I mean. They have quite short stubby legs, but those are very powerful to support their full weight when they need to use their arms freely. Their front arms are much longer, almost spanning their entire body length, and are even stronger than their legs. Each arm ending in 3 long claws. These claws aren't exactly sharp, but extremely hard and durable, comparable to forged iron. Their outer skin is covered by a thick carapace, pretty much the same as with other insects. This provides more than enough protection against other creatures it might encounter, and even against small arms fire. But it's not capable of stopping something like bolter shells or other more powerful weapons. Then we get to look at their face, which only a mother can love. The most obvious is of course their massive mandibles, which are easily capable of snip-snapping a man in twain. Their eyes are also exceptional, not only capable of being able to see even the smallest glimmer of light, but also capable of picking up infrared light and even a limited form of heat vision. It's also reasonable to assume by looking at them that they can do several of the tricks our insects can do too, seeing as they have the equipment for it, like an exceptional sense of smell, being able to sense vibrations, and tracking pheromones. While their natural stance is more of a hunched over form, it's easy to make the mistake and think that these creatures are somewhat man-sized. However, as soon as an ambull stands to their full length, you can see that they are easily 4 meters or more. That's over 13 feet for my American foot fetishists. All of these physical attributes are peak evolution, so that the ambull can thrive in its chosen environment, which is underground. You might not like it, but this is what peak diggy diggy hole performance looks like. Ambulls are tunnelers, being able to easily carve large tunnels through most rock. Though they prefer to tunnel through softer rock because why make it harder for yourself, they can tunnel through hard rock as well if it comes to it, though not at the same speed. They carve through the rocks using their large claws, crushing larger rocks with their mandibles and even eating and digesting most of it, so the debris doesn't block their fresh tunnels. However, this is purely to clear out tunnels, they do not get nourishment from eating rocks. That's why ambulls hunt in 3 ways to get food. They are very much carnivorous, their main food source being a co-tunneler simply named the crawler, which is basically a squid with a drill bit for a head. Ambulls pick up on their movement and then just tunnel towards them. Being much faster than pretty much any other subterranean creature, they always manage to catch their prey. The second hunting method is nocturnal. Due to the climate of their origin world, which we'll talk about later, no worries, the ambulls have evolved to evade daylight in all forms. And while they prefer to stay underground, they can come to the surface at night to hunt. Though ambulls are not that fast on the surface in comparison to how fast they are underground. So they either hunt prey that can't run away fast enough or just doesn't recognize the danger, like a grox. But they aren't too fine to just scavenge. So next time you hear a trash panda in your backyard, take a can of Raid with you, just in case. The third method is rather simple and affects mostly us humans, and that is stupidly wandering into their tunnels and getting lost. Since they carve out vast networks, getting lost is actually quite easy. At that point the ambull just comes up, slaps you across the face and takes you out for dinner. One of the more fascinating aspects about ambulls, to me, is how they are very social creatures. Ambulls live for a long time, and during their lifetime they form close families, which can span several generations. Though they consider the entire cave network their home, which can span for miles, they usually try and designate a safe section for their offspring. These larvae come in two different stages. You have the really small larvae, which you can see here, hanging from the Ambull's body. Usually these are kept at a safe spot, but Ambulls will take their offspring with them if there are not enough other Ambulls in the family to protect them. The later stage is called a boar worm, which is a larger worm-like larvae that already developed mandibles and a carapace to defend itself to some extent, though they can be pretty dangerous to humans when they are in a larger swarm and hungry. Ambulls with offspring will often drag parts of the body of their prey back to them so they can feast on them before they are strong enough to go on the hunt themselves. Now, that's the biology covered, but where do Ambulls even come from? The original world is the death world of Luther McIntyre 9 in the Segmentum Solar. McIntyre was a pretty place. Pretty awful, that is. It's a death world for a reason, with the majority of the world being nothing but a scorching desert. The scorching sunlight that bombards the planet all day is the reason why Ambulls became subterranean and only come out at night, if at all. Their main snack, the koala, also originates from this planet. They got spread across the galaxy because of two reasons. The first reason is absolutely retarded nobles catching one cause they wanted an exotic pet, usually for nothing more than bragging rights, but sometimes cause they think they make good guards. Now, you try and hold a 13-foot tall gorilla mantis thing that can dig through solid rock captive. See how that goes. Spoiler? Yeah, not well. So yeah, that's how a ton of them escaped. And since Ambulls tend to carry around some larvae on their body, they quickly populated the areas they found themselves in. It doesn't help that pretty much anywhere they go, the climate isn't as harsh as their home world, and most worlds lack any predators that could take on an Ambull, so their procreation went pretty much undisturbed. The second reason is the Ambull's own fault if you think about it. How dare they be second to none at tunneling? They were obviously asking for it to be exploited as mining equipment. Sarcastic jokes aside, this is an actual reason that a lot of Ambulls were taken off-world and attempted to be domesticated. Not only can Ambulls survive in pretty much any environment, as we'll find out later, but their ability to not only dig faster than most human machines and get rid of the debris in one go makes them very desirable in mining operations, especially where heavy equipment can't reach. But again, it's kinda difficult to keep them from just, bolting off or digging their way to freedom the first chance they get. So yeah, safe to say that pretty much all attempts at making docile and domesticated Ambulls went about as well as you'd imagine. However, not willing to let a good profit go to waste, the squads, now known as the Votan, went a step further and actually turned captured Ambulls into cyborgs, called simply Cyber Ambulls. While no official depiction exists, the description is horrific, detailing how barely anything of the face remains, all now replaced by control cables and rods, their carapace ripped off to be replaced by tungsten steel, their limbs replaced by saws and drills. They even put a little seat on top so the squad engineer can ride it, and a mounting rack for a heavy bolter to top it all off. It's basically an Ambull servitor, and we know how nice a servitor's life is.
It's a living.
Though all of this is really old lore, so let's hope for the Ambulls that the newly re-emerged Votan have cut that shit out. Also, a nice extra, when you acquire Ambull mining equipment, you can turn them into steaks, which are perfectly edible. Besides all that, the Adeptus Mechanicus thought that this was all a waste of time, but they also wanted a piece of the Ambull pie, or well, Ambull steak I guess. They started making mechanical copies of the Ambull, basically copying the animal one to one. They then put an Ambull brain into the construct, which creates an Ambot. These robotic constructs are pretty easy to control and are just as effective as an Ambull, but much more expensive, which is why some people still try and get actual Ambulls to do their mining for them. One of the weirder places where Ambulls have shown up is on the ice world of Simia Orichalcae, where they were literally shed out by a warp portal and started rampaging through the local Promethium refinery. While many of the Ambulls were slain by the Imperium's greatest hero, Cain, quite a few managed to escape by digging through the ice. Very impressive that they can actually survive on such an ice world, considering they usually prefer the exact opposite. There's technically also one running around a Blackstone fortress, cause, you know, those weren't dangerous enough yet. Anyway, that's it for our new Diggy friends. I always love the look of the Ambull, and they have actually been part of 40k since the original Rogue Trader. I hope you liked the video. If you did, then please leave a like and maybe even subscribe so you don't miss the next video on 40k's ever-growing petting zoo. Also, tell me in the comments which you think looks cooler, the actual all-natural Ambull or the wonder of technology that is the Ambot. Anyway, thanks for watching and see y'all next time. Cheers!